Welcome to Subramani. So many people have been asking me one question: what should one do in this market, and are there some things which one need not do? Right. So I have been saying the same things again and again. And so the first question is: go and revisit your own asset allocation and your own risk tolerance. Let me put a caveat here. During times of stressed portfolio is perhaps one of the worst times to check these two things. But if you do not check your asset allocation and do not check your risk tolerance, you might come to some wrong conclusions. And please check your asset allocation and risk tolerance based on your life, not based on what is happening outside in the economy. None of us have understood what's happening in the economy, right? So check that out. Are you comfortable with the kind of amount of money that you have in equity in spite of the fall? So look at your portfolio, say of January 2020 and July or August 2020, and then say if the value remained at same as January, would you be happier, or are you worried now because there is a current fall in the market and current change in the PE. PE is one of the worst ratios to use in a year when everybody's earning has gone for a toss. Don't look at PE in 2020. Look at PE only in 2022 when the 2021 results start coming. It does not make sense to look at PE now. So the first don't is do not look at PE. And the first do is look at your asset allocation and your risk profile and see whether anything has changed. I mean, if you have your daughter's education coming up in 2022, that's an important event. Maybe you would have withdrawn money in 2019, you didn't, but you would have wanted to withdraw in 2020 and 21. That event should not change. It should not change that just because somebody is telling you that the markets are now in bad shape, you should not sell. Completely wrong advice. The guy who is telling you markets are in bad shape and you should not sell is trying to tell you that the market will go up from now. He's bluffing. If you need the money in 2023 or 2024, partial withdrawal can still be made. However, if you are confident that over the next 2-3 years markets will recover, that's fine. But you can leave only about 70% of your portfolio or 80% of your portfolio for that. You can't leave 100% of your portfolio for that. I would still suggest you do a systematic withdrawal plan if you require the money in 2022 or maybe 2023. But if you require the money after 2025, you can afford not to withdraw from equity because you are taking a call that equity can be withdrawn 2-3 years before the event, and not necessarily that you need to withdraw 5 years before the event. That's all. And that the market is likely to go up. You're just making those assumptions. Now the question people again ask is, will gold keep going up? I think I'll do a separate blog for that because I have more strong views on gold. So first, then now relook at your equity portfolio and see which of the shares you are worried about, saying, oh, I'm worried about this share not being able to do well. Well, there is more uncertainty, there will be more greater discount in the price. For example, Indian Hotels was doing pretty badly till about 2 weeks ago. Indigo was doing badly, right? From 1800 it had come down to 900. But now it has recovered to almost 1200, or maybe it's crossed 1200, right? So these things will happen. Market will fluctuate. The shares which are considered to be the riskiest will fall the farthest down, and they will also recover very sharply. I am not even recommending that you buy Indian Hotels or Indigo. There is a lot of uncertainty. But if you see the fall, it was very sharp, and therefore the recovery was very sharp. It is not rocket science that yes, it maybe 1800 to 1200 would have been the right fall. However, it fell from 1800 to 900 and recovered 300 points to be at 1200. Next quarterly results, it might go further down. I am not guessing prices, but you see what has happened. Markets will do this. Markets will overdo on the upside and overdo on the lower side. So you need to do what you think is correct. One thing which you cannot deny is always great advice is to save more. Obviously, your income must have dropped, but so have your expenses. Now, save very aggressively. Where should your savings go? Maybe you put it in a liquid fund. I'm not getting into doing an asset allocation for you. That is the job of your IFA. But saving aggressively has never gone out of fashion. So save aggressively, which means you have anyway have less opportunities to spend. Don't waste your money. Be careful because uncertainty could come for anybody at any stage. So if you are very sure that your income is going to be steady and rising and you have no issues on that, that's great, which means you can invest aggressively. Even if you don't invest aggressively, at least save aggressively and keep that money in a liquid fund. Then you by now you have looked at your asset allocation and your risk profile, and you realize that your risk profile has not changed much. You are 35, your company is doing well, you are in the security business, and your software is selling very well. In fact, it is selling more than what it would have sold without COVID. So really there may be no threat to your career or your cash flows. Then fine, continue with your asset allocation. You want to get more aggressive, you want to get less aggressive, do all that. It should not be a problem. Also, if you are worried about what is going to happen with equity, I think it's fair to be worried. And if you are reached a stage when you may require the money a little earlier, or that you will stop contributing, you're 58 years of age and you think you will stop contributing maybe in 2 years, what you can do is slowly reduce your hold on equities, or rather the amount of equity that you have in your portfolio. Let us assume for a minute that you're 70% in equity and 30% in debt and you have 2 years to go for retirement. Does it mean you need to sell all your equity in one go? No, not necessary. You can sell 1% every year. So when you're 60, you may have gone down by 2%, you may be 68% in equity. Then every year as you age, you make sure that all the dividends that come are used for your expenses, and that when you want to withdraw for your expenses, do a systematic withdrawal plan from your equity. Yes, I am repeating, do a systematic withdrawal plan from your equity. But however, if the market falls 20-30%, stop your systematic withdrawals and start withdrawing from your debt fund. Anyway, sensible thing is to withdraw from a debt fund, which could be an ultra short bond fund or something like that. But you keep withdrawing from your equities when the equities are booming. If the equities are up 25%, there is no problem in withdrawing 5% out of your equity that year. That withdrawal of 5% will not even be visible to you in your overall asset allocation, right? So do that. So these are some of the do's and some of the don'ts that I could think of. Entering any asset class totally does not make sense, like selling equity or debt to buy gold, or selling all your equity at one shot, or selling your real estate and buying equity. None of this makes sense. If you have too much of real estate, maybe you sell off one real estate and see what is happening. Because when there is uncertainty, people move their money to assets where they think they have certainty. It does not matter what you think. So a person might think, oh, there is so much uncertainty in the market, let me move and buy some real estate. Perfectly alright. Somebody may decide to buy gold, somebody may decide to buy stocks of Apple, somebody may decide to buy stocks of Reliance. We have no clue. When people think there is going to be uncertainty, they move their assets into assets which they think bring certainty. So when people are buying more of Apple or Google or Alphabet, Netflix, Facebook, they are moving into assets which they think are more going to add more value than what you think. That's all. So some people will buy gold, some people will buy Apple, some people will buy Reliance. I'm not getting into the value judgment. I'm just saying people move their assets into more reliable or what they think certainty kind of assets. Could be gold, silver, platinum, real estate, Apple stocks, Reliance stocks, could be anything. Right now, more and more people are moving it into gold. That's about all. Thank you.